Welcome, everybody, to the last Tango Banter of 2022. I am excited to be spending this time with you talking about the 5 good reasons to quit tango. I think it's a good topic to end the year on, because perhaps some of you are not enjoying tango and thinking about leaving, and maybe some of you know of people who are feeling that way. And so today we're going to talk about what are some good reasons. How do you know? How do you know if it's time for you to quit? How do you know when it's not worth it anymore and you need to move on? And of course, we're going to talk about not good reasons to leave tango. So there is one that I'm going to share in particular. One reason that a lot of people choose to leave tango, but I don't think it's a good reason to leave. So, before we launch into this discussion, a quick reminder that next week, on January 3rd, I start my year-long musicality course. And so those of you who are curious and interested, I invite you to check out the link in the show notes and see if this is something that you would like to join. It's going to be a really fun adventure, and I hope you choose to join us. So, the 5 good reasons to quit tango. And those are all real reasons that people have told me. People who have left tango have shared with me. And at first, when I heard these reasons, I came from a place of judgment, of being like, you don't have what it takes. You're not a real tango dancer. Real tango dancers don't leave, But that's a very limited and immature way of seeing it, because tango is part of life, and life throws things at you. And so tango is at the service of life a lot of times, and it makes sense that for many of us, we'll come into tango and then at some point we would phase out of it, maybe to come back to it later. I do think there's a large percentage of people that just need to leave for a bit and then come back. But for some, it's a permanent change. And there's been many people that have left that we still feel the pain of their absence. And I have a handful of people in mind that I was fortunate enough to meet them right before they left. And they were very long time dancers and big part of the community, and they left. And why? The number one reason, I would say, this is especially true for organizers and anybody in the professional track and tango, is burning out. Burnout in tango, I think, is so common among people who take up leadership positions like organizers or teachers. And it's sad. It's sad to see it. And I do want to do an episode just on that, on burnout, because I think it's not necessary. And it comes from a place of not being able to have proper boundaries, to be discerning about what you say yes to, uh, and saying yes to everything. So burnout can really set in quite intensely for people who become integral parts of the community. Maybe you volunteer a lot, and then that leads you to do other things in the tango world. Maybe you start DJing, maybe you start teaching, but then there's more and more and more, and there's not enough compensation in the form of both financial gain as well as emotional, relational, and it just seems like people are just taking from you and taking from you and taking from you. It's not sustainable. Absolutely not. And so if you get to a place of burnout where every time you go to tango, it's actually kind of a downer and you're sort of not that excited by it anymore just because you're too tired and you don't enjoy the social scene and you're sort of uninspired by it because of the burnout, then, it's a good place of reflection to say to yourself, maybe it's time for a break. Maybe it's, just leave it behind for a bit and see what happens. And if something else is more interesting to you right now, then explore that. So there might be something to consider if you feel that you've sort of burned out to the point of not enjoying yourself. And one component of burning out is actually the second item on this list of the reasons to leave, and that is too much drama. Yes, tango is famous for drama, but I would say it's not just tango. It's humans in general. Life in general is a dramatic place, dramatic process. And unfortunately, in tango, it's accentuated. It's blown up. It is a place where things mean something else, It's like being rejected by a capaceo means something else. It feels somehow more acute, more difficult to process than somebody being rude to you at the grocery store, So in tango, there's a lot of politics and a lot of drama that plays out in every community. And as much as I've heard people talk about other people, about the drama, it's like, it's always the same. It's the same drama. And no matter which community I go to, no matter how small or how big, there's always division. There's always somebody blacklisted. Somebody is complaining about someone else. There's always some sort of scandal brewing right under the surface. There's always gossip. It's just, that's the way it is. And it's funny to me that people will say things like, oh, well, in such and such place is so much better there. Here, it's just, there's so much drama. But over there, it feels like they have it all together. They have it figured out. And I'm like, no, it's the same. It appears, grass is always greener, right? It appears to a naked eye looking on a different community that things are good and everybody's so friendly. They'll say like, oh, people here are so not friendly, but when I go over there, they're so much more friendly. And it's like you don't realize that people there complain about the same thing. So I think it's just the nature of being in a community, and you can't escape it. So you have to define, you have to assert your relationship to it. What is going to be your relationship to this drama? How involved do you feel you need to be? And how much does it affect you? How much camaraderie do you need to have with other people who are going through something? Or how much solidarity are you going to express towards someone else's challenges in the community? Those questions need to be answered at some point, because if you don't and you just go along with it, eventually you're going to get a taste of it and you're going to be seduced into some sort of drama story about somebody doing something or not doing something, and you'll have a choice. And I think that I've oscillated between, being sort of on the sideline. You're like, no drama. No drama. I don't want to know. Don't tell me. And really getting personally involved in a drama recently, in someone else's drama, and really being privy to what's going on. And it really took a lot of my time. And I've learned a lot from that. And actually recently from myself, I've just become more discerning about this, that it's like by getting involved in the drama, you're choosing to give your time. And you might be under impression you're helping, which sometimes I feel like, I'm trying to help. But it might not be the case. It might be that you're just giving your time and you're amplifying, you're giving energy to the drama. And that's just going to depend on where you're at. And so when I hear people complain to me, there's too much drama in tango. If I hear people complain, then to me it's like, okay, you're involved in too much drama. You need to separate yourself. The drama is not going to come to you unless you say yes to it. That's what I've sort of learned. And it's sneaky. It's very sneaky. And of course, so much of it revolves around relationships or competition or, other things, human things, right? So there are times that we get involved in so much drama that we burn bridges and we don't enjoy the people there, and it's kind of like tiring and it's not fun anymore, and you don't get to dance with people you want anyway. Like it just kind of snowballs into a kind of a negative state. That in that case, I say, yeah, you know what? Maybe it's time for a break. It's time for a break. It's time to put down those shoes and stay in and go do something else and pick up another hobby and sort of reset and let things settle, There are some other reasons beyond just the drama and the burnout that are less, I guess, less painful, maybe even joyful. And that is, you might be having a baby. People start families, right? And so that's another reason that I've seen really good dancers exit the scene, because they're having a baby, they have another baby, they have a family obligation. Some people, it's not necessarily that exciting. Maybe it's like you're having to leave because you're taking care of an elderly grandparent or an aging parent. And so family takes precedence, and you just have to sort of leave tango because there's no room for it at that point in your life. And I think some people try to make it work, and it does. I have friends who just had babies, and I'm seeing in real time how they're dealing with that, and they make adjustments and continue to be part of the scene. And then other people, it's too much. They can't handle it. So don't be afraid to let go of tango in this case, because tango is going to be there. And so if you are in that place of having to leave tango, not because you don't want to be part of it, but because there are other priorities that are taking precedence, don't feel bad about that. And definitely don't feel guilty about it, because I think sometimes there's even a little bit of guilt that, oh, I'm not able to make it work. I should be, but I'm not able. But that's just life, and it's a good reason. It's not like, it's not frivolous, let's just say. And to that end, another good reason why you might need to leave tango is maybe you move somewhere where there's no tango. That's possible. It's not optimal. I know people don't like it, but it might be a situation where you have to move somewhere and there's no tango around, or there's very little tango. So you have to leave and you have to find something else, something that is more available to that community. You might develop other interests, right? Or you might decide to move back somewhere where there's tango. Or you might decide to start tango yourself and teach and start a community there, which is worthy of a different podcast. But my point is that is a good reason. People do leave tango because they move somewhere where they don't have access to it, and it makes sense. Yeah. And the number 5 reason I think is a good one, that's a little bit more subtle, and sometimes it's the direct result of some of these other reasons, and that is that you're not enjoying yourself anymore. You're not enjoying tango that much. It's not really that exciting. You're kind of bored with it. You don't look forward to it. You go because it's there, and when you get there, you don't really care to be there, and you don't like the people, and you don't like to talk to anyone, and you kind of don't like the music. Maybe it just, your love of it just kind of fizzled out. And I actually know quite a few dancers like that. There seems to be a common occurrence of this. I don't know if I could call it a pattern, because I haven't really done a formal study of this phenomenon, but I feel like I've heard this quite a few times, that somebody gets into tango and they just go all in, and they dance all the time. They take all the classes. They even might start teaching, and they're just like tango, 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 tango. And then all of a sudden, it's sort of, the light goes out and they lose interest, and they're not really that into it. And it's not that overwhelming for them anymore, and it's not so inspiring. And so they just sort of fade out. And I think if you don't feel excited, if nothing's really triggering your imagination, then why do it? Don't force it. So those reasons are good ones. I would say, if somebody comes to me and they say, there's too much drama, I'm burnt out on this, I have family obligations, I live somewhere where there's not that much tango, and I'm actually, it doesn't really interest me anymore, I'll say, yeah, okay, have a good life, maybe see you later. But I'll tell you what's not a good reason to leave tango. And unfortunately, this is probably the most common reason that people leave tango. if I hear somebody say that they have to leave tango because they're not getting enough dances, that is not a good reason to leave. That means you still want to be there. You would be there if you got enough dances, but you're just not. If I hear that, then I say, well, what have you tried? Because if you're not getting dances, it's because of one of three reasons. There's only three reasons why you might not get dances. There might be exceptions to this, and maybe you'll send me examples of something different. But to me, there are three reasons why somebody might not be getting the dances that they want. It's either because of something to do with their movement, something technical in their embrace that's not comfortable. That is a big reason why somebody might not be dancing with you, and you just don't know what it is. You think you're doing everything right, but people are just not enjoying your embrace for some reason. And it's very physical. It's alignment based. It's posture. It's mechanics. The second reason why somebody might not be dancing with you, maybe you have the technical side of it okay, but you're lacking musicality. You just don't have musicality, and maybe you think you do. There's lots of people out there, they think they have great musicality, but then they're not getting the dances that they want. So it could be mechanical, or it could be that there's not that musicality that we want to feel. And the third reason, if you have both of those, and you know that you've worked on your mechanics and you have your musicality down, and you're still not getting dances, then I think it might be your mindset. There's something in the mindset. You're doubting yourself, you're putting yourself down, you are not outgoing as much as you could be, you're not initiating, you're not being active in your pursuit of the dances that you want. You feel insecure, you feel scared. So one of those, or a combination of those, or something, there's something there that's happening. And you might be like, well, duh, I knew that. Well, the good news is that you can do something about that. So if you're at a place, or you know someone who wants to be in tango, but they're desperate, they're upset because they're not getting enough dances, and they're frustrated, and they're thinking about leaving, or you're thinking about leaving, just come back to this thought that this can be fixed, this can be addressed, you can do something about this. It's not like you're defective and you have to leave, because most of the time that's what people think. They're like, oh, nobody wants to dance with me, and it's because I'm not attractive, I'm too old, I'm too short, I'm too tall, I'm too fat, I'm too bald, something's wrong, like they think it's an inherent problem with who they are. And I definitely want to prevent as many people as possible from thinking that and leaving tango. You can leave tango for other reasons. You can. There are many good reasons to leave. But leaving because you feel there's something wrong with you and nobody wants to dance with you, that's not a good reason. It's not real. It has nothing to do with you being defective or not right or too something or not enough of something. It's either mechanical, movement related, or it's musicality based. Something about your musicality needs to be honed, or it's your mindset, the way you're approaching it. Something's not working. So how do you approach this? Well, I can give you lots of different ways that you can start answering these questions for you. What is it? What is it that's preventing you from having the dances? First, you can reach out to a teacher, you can reach out to me and sign up for a private session with someone and ask them the questions in the session. It's hard to get feedback from just friends. Like if I go up to a friend and I'll be like, tell me, do you feel like this is working? A lot of times, friends are being friends. They want to be polite. But if you're paying for someone's opinion, they might be more forthcoming. So reach out to a teacher that you trust and that you can get a session with and ask them, very straightforward, like, I'm not getting the dances that I want. What do you think it is about my dance that needs to change? And I would suggest going to several people, several different teachers, and asking them and just kind of see where the overlap is. What's the common denominator? If you already know what it is that you need to work on, you kind of know where you can start. Find a class, a teacher that can help you achieve that, whether it's working on your posture, which a lot of people complain about, or balance, which a lot of people complain about. Sometimes it's a matter of changing slight little places in your posture and manipulating your alignment just so that resolves a whole slew of issues. And this is sort of the magic of body mechanics that I love so much. And if it's musicality, if you know that if only you knew the music, you would feel much more comfortable and you'd feel more inspired, well then, take my musicality course. Sign up for my musicality course, or sign up for other classes, or just start listening to the music and, get to know it, keep track of it. Download Shazam, that app that identifies songs, and when you go to the Milonga, Shazam the songs that you like. Find out what is the song that I really love. And that begins to build a relationship with the music that's your own, your unique relationship, right? And in terms of the mindset, I hope that my podcast and the discussions inside my private Facebook group, which if you haven't joined, you should. The link is in the show notes. All of those resources, I am committed to providing the mindset tools through this medium. So I'm happy to chat with you about your specific situation where it comes to that you think you have everything, all the basics down, but you're still not getting enough dances. And why is that? And you think it might be something mindset related, but you don't know. Well, reach out to me, chat with a friend. If you have some friends, close friends in tango, talk to them about it. What you don't want to do is just go on suffering and being upset that you're not getting enough dances. And you don't want to just leave and sort of separate. Instead, choose a path that has a possibility of being more empowered on the other end of it. Right? Choose to do something that might actually bring you to a place where you're getting what you want. That is a possibility. And there are tools that you can use, and there are resources and other people who can help you get there. You just have to ask the question. You have to be vulnerable and open up about what it is you actually want. Some people, it's hard to even voice that. When I ask my students, what do you want most out of tango? And most of them will say things like, I want to make sure my partner is happy. It's all about like the other person, And I get that that's important. That's definitely there. But I think underneath that, what do we really want from social tango? What is it? We want as many magical dances as possible. It's simple. We want to dance. We want to dance every tanda, and we want every tanda to be amazing. If somebody says, no, I don't want that. I only want one amazing tanda a night. Do you really? I mean, if you could have 3, would you say no to that? So I think part of that is your own exploration of what it is that you want from tango. And as we round up 2022 and we are starting on a new year, thinking for yourself, what do you want your year of tango to be like? What skills, what ambitions do you want to address and build towards? Maybe you're already there. Maybe you're already happy where you are and you don't really need anything different. Well, then I would humbly request that you be one of those people who shines the light for others and show how it's done. Because if you figured it out, you can help others and you can radiate and share generously with others your secrets. But if you're not there yet, if you feel like your tango experience is building towards something but not quite giving you the satisfaction that you want, then consider what steps you could take, how you could help yourself, and in that way help the whole tango community grow and become stronger, and for us all to reach more of our creative potential and creative expression. So on that note, I want to wish you a very happy end of 2022 and a happy upcoming new year. I hope it is a year full of adventure and learning and exciting, fun time with people you love and new friends and new possibilities of experiencing tango, maybe in different parts of the world, maybe in different ways. And my own selfish desire for 2023 is to connect with more of you, whether through this medium or in my Facebook group, to get to know all of you a little bit better, and also perhaps to meet you on the dance floor and experience that fulfillment of connection through tango, face to face, body to body. That is my selfish ambition for myself for 2023. I shall see you and speak to you in the new year at our next banter. Until then, have fun, dance along, and chat soon.